Take two, everybody.
Take two. All right, it's April 18th, 2020. I am here with Brittany Hartsock. Brittany Hartsock, thank you very much again for letting me interview you. I guess
Hey, no problem.
to start it off, what is your occupation? What are you doing now?
So I am with the Air Force, so therefore I should probably preface this by saying all of my opinions are my opinions and not the Air Force guidelines, whatever. Can't talk about that stuff. Fun stuff. Anyways, so I am a 45051F, which is Flight and Operational Med Tech. I take care of flyers. So mainly I'm attached to a refueling squadron, and that's for the KC-135, which is just a giant flying gasoline tank.
Okay.
Um, so if anybody's interested in ever joining the military, I would take a look at in-air refuelings because it is the bomb. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. They control like a little tiny, it's not a tiny, it's a big thing on the back of these planes. It's a robotic arm that these boom operators, which is enlisted, will pilot to connect to the gas nozzles of these gas tanks of cargo planes, fighter jets, anything. And they do this in the air, which is absolutely astounding. But my job is not that cool. I take care of them. So flyers are liars. So I have to go through medical records. I have to make sure that they're up to Air Force standards to continue to fly.
Yeah.
If they aren't, I have to work with a doc who will try to figure out what can we do to get them up to Air Force standards to fly again, or are they just done? So, but my core job is 41051, which is a aerospace med tech. I take vital signs. My job can do some pretty menial things, but we can also do some really cool things. And if you're in the medical field, if you really want to be a part of the medical field, you're basically like an LPN, and you should probably join the military because it's nice. Okay, my opinion, but my complete opinion. But yeah, that's what I do.
Okay. That's awesome. And I guess since being in the military, how has this pandemic that's been going on, how has that affected you?
So as of right now, I'm currently deployed. It's stressful, only because I am so far away from my husband, who is currently in the States. So far away from my family, who are also currently in the States. With the cases rising, and with my husband also being medical, there's the constant fear of, well, is he going to get it? What's going to happen if he gets it while I'm gone? What if something serious happens? And that's always the fear for anybody who's deployed. We don't want anything to happen to our family, but sometimes it happens. So
Okay.
that's the biggest stress.
Yeah. And I guess being both in the military and you're also in the medical field, would you consider you being safe doing your occupation?
Um, I am taking solace in my training. I am practicing more and washing my hands, trying not to touch my face, wearing face masks whenever appropriate. So, do I feel safe? Safer than most? No, I feel I have a pretty higher risk than anybody, but it's just a part of being in the medical field. We kind of I've kind of just accepted that. I'm like, if I get it, I get it. But I'm going to try to do everything to prolong it so I don't get it.
Okay. Now, what are some of the precautions that you guys are taking there on base?
So on base, we have to wear face masks. I actually have mine. It's just like a fabric running shield that I have. So if we're in cars together, we go to the DFAC, the shopette, the DX grocery store, all that other stuff, we have to wear these. I think it's all for the illusion, but I don't know. But we're also screening people who are coming to the clinic to make sure that they don't have the coronavirus. And it's just a question like, hey, have you been quarantined? Have you possibly came into contact? It's the general. I feel like I feel like that's what they've been doing over at the States, but I don't know. I've been kind of far removed from it.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am touching my face. And it's like mainly just asking people, hey, are you having these symptoms? Well, I'm going to check your temperature anyways. It's kind of like that.
Okay. Now, you did mention like like the PX and shopettes. Like here in the States, we're having to keep our distance 6 feet apart whenever we're by the cash register and stuff. Do you guys have to do that as well there in the shopettes and the PX?
Yes. The nationals here have been kind enough to in the dining facility, so the DFAC, they have these little stickers that say Corona Metro. So they'll show you what 2 meters or 6 feet apart looks like, and they kind of have a pathway to show you what you should do in a dining facility so you can maintain your 6 feet distance. They have hand sanitizer everywhere. Most people carry hand sanitizer with them. So we're supposed to maintain 6 feet at all times. And if we can't maintain, then we have to drop the face shield.
Okay. Okay, nice. Now, let me see. I guess what are some of the precautions that you're taking for yourself?
So every time I videotape myself talking, period, I notice that I say I try not to touch my face, and I immediately touch my face. So I just try to wash my hands and try to be very consistent with scrubbing my hands, like actually washing them when they feel soiled or visibly soiled. I put a lot of soap on my hands and just go to town. The more bubbles, the better. I make sure I get every avenue, but I didn't do this before Corona, so it was kind of like a learning curve. Like, how do I wash my hands? Yeah, they teach us in tech school how to wash your hands, but it's easy to fall out of that habit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm washing my hands. I'm trying to stay away from sick people. But if people cough, I'm not dodging. Like, oh gosh, you got the Rona. It's kind of like in the medical field, I kind of feel like if somebody's coughing, I look at them, I'm like, you okay? Good. And it's all about just trying to keep everybody safe and alive. So me personally, washing my hands, trying not to touch my face, but failing miserably sometimes.
Okay. I guess as you did mention, that you're in the medical field, and like here in the States, it's been very difficult to obtain gloves, face masks, face shields, not just for civilians, but majority for the hospitals, clinics here in the States. Is it hard for you guys to obtain those items like the face masks, face shields, gloves, PPE gowns?
So I can only speak for this. This is the first place I've ever been deployed to. So I can't tell if it's the same everywhere else, but it's been an uphill battle just to get anything here, period. So when we got here, we had very limited supply. So we put in our order for it, and then the coronavirus hit, and it got even harder. So we're making do with what we have, but we're trying to ration things. So when it hits the fan, we have it.
Hmm. Okay.
But are we fully prepped? No, no, not by any means.
Okay. Nice. I guess with any of those like the like medical items that you guys do have, or even there on base, do you guys distribute those items within the airmen or any of the service members, or and do you guys also help out, outside outside the wire, so to say?
So we take care of our airmen here as much as we can. Uh, when face masks became readily available, um, we were able to distribute them to our airmen here. But the base that I'm at will take care of the nationals as well. Um, we haven't had enough supply too, but so I can just say my clinic helps out the medical group here and vice versa, but the medical group is solely American.
Hmm.
So
Okay. Nice. Let's see. Let me just get my other questions here. Sorry. I guess
okay.
I guess
Ooh.
on base there, do you guys like self quarantine as well? Not just for for people who are sick, but do you guys personally have to self quarantine?
So since I'm going home, we haven't been told to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Hmm.
Um, so I am fully expecting to quarantine when I get home. But for those coming in, they have to self quarantine. Um, and we have an area set up for them and everything. And as much as it sucks, they do it very well. And we also take care of the airmen that are in quarantine. We give them food and anything that they might need, we take care of and we buy for them and bring to them.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there's been a whole group quarantined before. So it's it's a messy process because this is so new.
Hmm.
Uh, nobody's dealt with the novel coronavirus, so everybody's just trying to figure it out on the fly.
Okay. Nice. Now, I guess they're on base, you did mention, the people who did have to self quarantine, for the 2 weeks. Like, even then, like, have you guys had any cases there on the base of any cases of the coronavirus there on the base?
As of right now, there's no recorded cases of coronavirus, but because of the season, it's seasonal allergy time, and so we've been having an uptick of upper respiratory infections and seasonal allergies. But thankfully, nobody's come down with coronavirus yet.
Okay.
We're just waiting for it to hit, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Nice. And um, I guess with any news that you guys do receive, that's outside the wire, is there like any of the cases there, like any cases outside the wire, like in that you've heard of?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We're worried about it because there's a chance that it could hop on base. But the country is very well. I shouldn't say country is very diligent, but the base is very diligent,
Mhm.
especially the country's. I guess I should say wing commander. He's very diligent about
Okay.
letting on certain people and making sure that they're getting their temperatures checked. So he's trying to take steps to prevent it from getting on base.
Mhm.
And we are also trying to do our best to show that we're going to do our best to make sure that we keep it that way as well.
Okay. Awesome. Now, let me see. Ooh. Okay. Let me see. I guess. Um, have you been able to keep in contact with your family and friends, and help educate them about the coronavirus?
Um, Yeah, I've tried. I have family members who are in that high risk area, and they just it was baffling because I was like, this is picking up steam. This is no longer just oh, it's like the flu, it'll be fine. It started killing more people, and it started giving people pneumonia too, which is like worse.
Mhm.
Um, and there was people in my family just going to Florida to be on a boat, and they drove the whole way from Ohio to Florida.
Jesus.
Um, there's sometimes where I'm like, to my husband, I'm like, you really, please don't go outside. I just need you just to stay in a bubble. And he goes outside anyways, but it's fine. He's getting exercise. He's staying healthy. That's all you really need to do. As long as you do your social distancing,
Mhm.
and when somebody coughs, grab a can of Lysol and spray him. I'm kidding. I'm so kidding on that. As long as they stay away, like keep your social distancing and just everything, you'll be okay.
Okay. Okay. I guess now you did mention your husband, and that you did mention that he as well is serving within the medical field as well. Like, what are some other fears that you have for him?
Well, thankfully, right now he's kind of safe. Our base isn't too overwhelmed with coronavirus cases. They're doing a great job um, mitigating that and stuff like that. He's right now, the only thing I'm worried about him is I'm worried that he's getting too bored. um, because of his shift. Thankfully, our base isn't like doesn't have like a huge hospital, so he's not working in an actual hospital. He's working in a clinic setting. They kind of cut back on their face to face,
Okay.
so I don't have to worry about him catching it from work.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna have to worry about him catching it somewhere else. But he's damn it, he's been pretty good about it too. So I my biggest fear is just him catching it and something going south. But thankfully, if it does go that way, I'll be home and I can take care of him.
Okay. Um, I guess you mentioned boredom and stuff, and that's like I guess what a lot of people just here in the States, I think just worldwide, everybody is feeling, and it does take a toll on your mental health. Like, what are you doing to combat that boredom, that what people call stir crazy, to keep yourself occupied and like mentally healthy?
Uh, Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing. Um, Before everything got a little crazy over here, we were able to go for runs. We were able to like work out in an actual gym. Um, but they shut that down, so that kind of killed all means of being able to work out stress. And because first of all, you go on deployment and you're like, I'm gonna hit the gym every day, I'm gonna lose weight, I'm gonna look so fit. They cut the gym off sometime last month, and we all just was like, well, screw it, I'm not working out. Because they're like, we have at home workouts for you. Well, I share like a dorm with like paper thin walls. People can hear me talking. People are going to hear me when I do burpees. There's just no working out in here. So I've read all the books that I brought with me on deployment. I've been playing Animal Crossing. I've been just trying to go out when I can for walks just to get my heart rate up. Because the most important thing, especially if you're bored, is just getting out and getting active, because you need to stay healthy. You need to keep your immune system up.
Okay. Damn, I'm gonna have to get Animal Crossing because that's like you're one of like many people that I've heard talk about Animal Crossing. So
Do it. Do it. Won't regret it. Do it.
awesome. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Um, I guess what are what are some of the like what are some observations that you're making while they're on base? Like what do you see, people doing and are not doing?
So there's people who are very, very diligent on social distancing, washing their hands very well. I don't shame people for not washing their hands very well, but I do stare at them. Um, but I don't. But the main things that I notice are people not actually doing any of it. They're not maintaining social distancing. They're playing basketball. They're playing, you know, close contact sports, which you shouldn't do. Especially if the host nation says, "Hey, we're not doing this," and then they see a bunch of Americans being Americans. It doesn't look good. And I also frequent Reddit, so I'm like on R Columbus and R OSU because I miss those places. And there's just a bunch of college kids partying, and they just don't understand. Like, they don't understand the how big this is, because sometimes I can't comprehend it, and I'm 30, but to me it's a serious deal because I work medical. I know what can happen, but these kids just don't know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And I guess like one of my last questions, that I ask everybody, like when uh when the quarantines have been lifted, all these mandates have been lifted, hopefully, sooner than later, that this pandemic is over, what is one of the first things that you want to do, once everything is over?
Oh my gosh. So my little brother is set to graduate in end of May, and I want to see him. I haven't had a honeymoon yet. I would love to have a honeymoon. And my best friends are set to get married in August, and I'm supposed to marry them. These are all things that I want, that mean a lot to me. And I really want some B-dubs because that would be great. I would like to sit in an actual restaurant and be surrounded by English and football games and the normal American things.
Uh-huh.
But right now we can't have that, which I understand. But once it happens, trust me, I'm gonna be there. But yeah, those are the three main important things. I want to watch my little brother walk down and pick up his diploma because I've been waiting for this moment forever. And just live life a little bit more.
Okay. Awesome. Nice. I guess, is there anything else that you want to mention? Like tell anybody, whoever does watch this and, maybe researches coronavirus in the future. Like, is there anything else that you want to say?
Yeah, learn how to wash your damn hands. Uh, I mean that goes for any kind of pandemic, because we're going to have more. But the biggest one too is we have the flu every single year, and that kills a lot of people too. You want to know how you not get the flu? You wash your hands and don't touch your face. And if you're sick, stay home. I want people to understand too that social distancing is not it. Yeah, it's a little inconvenient for you, but you're saving a loved one because you could get it and be asymptomatic, so not show any symptoms, and then give it to your, let's say, 80-year-old grandma, and then she gets it really bad, and it morphs pneumonia. There's a ventilator. There's I heard on the news in Italy, on here while I was here, but about Italy, that Italy had to make some decisions, and if you were over 80, you were taken off the ventilator. And that's got to be the hardest decision to make. And I can't imagine having having coronavirus and then giving it to a loved one and that happening, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. So I just hope people gain a bigger picture, view the bigger picture, um, and wash your hands. Wash
Aw-
your hands.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you very much for letting me interview you. I guess if there's any follow-up questions, because I know I'll definitely have some, hopefully once this pandemic is over, and and I know you mentioned your husband, and hopefully if I could, maybe interview you with, with your permission and his permission. But yeah, would I be able to contact you with any follow-up questions?
Yeah, go ahead. And
Okay.
if I can't do a video, I'll definitely like give you texts about
Yeah,
what's going on.
yeah, definitely. Or I'll even give you my phone number or whatnot, so that way we can keep in contact and stuff. But yeah, but like I said, thank you very much for letting me interview you. I don't know if you can say your rank in the Air Force or not, but so but
I'm E5.
okay. So Brittany Hartsock, with the United States Air Force E5, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.